My wife did her fair share of moving around in her younger years. Growing up as a pastor's daughter, she never stayed in one place too long. She was born in Mansfield, Ohio, then moved from Export to Clarion in western Pennsylvania, then to 3 different towns in New York, Albion, Andes, and Prattsville. Next, she began college at the Christian Missionary Alliance School in Toccoa Falls, Georgia, and spent her freshman summer in very rural, middle-of-nowhere, wildlife-infested Carthus, Pennsylvania. After 3 semesters at Toccoa Falls, she transferred to Grove City College in Pennsylvania. Home. Where was it for my future wife? As crazy as my wife's list of moves might sound, I know of someone whose list is crazier. Abraham's nephew, Lot. Living in Ur of the Chaldeans among his people, he left when Uncle Abram was called by God. He followed his uncle to Canaan, where they stayed at Shechem, in a place between Bethel and Ai. Then he followed him to Egypt, to the Negev, a dry wasteland, and from place to place until they again settled between Bethel and Ai. It was there that Abram decided they should split ways, since their company was quarreling and growing too large. So, Lot looked up and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. Did you notice that Lot's new residence evoked comparison to the garden of the Lord? Wow! Had Lot finally found it? Had Lot finally found home? That question is answered quickly and negatively. The men of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. They say buying a house is as much about location as it is about the actual house, but it is also about the neighbors. And for Lot, in the well-watered plains of the Jordan, the neighbors were horrible. At some point, while living among the cities of the plain, Lot was captured and carried away northward by the combined army of foreign powers. Thankfully, Uncle Abram came to his rescue, and Lot returned to Sodom. We find out in Genesis 19 that Lot wasn't accepted by the inhabitants of Sodom, though. When angels sent by God visited Sodom, Lot showed them hospitality, but his neighbors gathered against him in a violent mob and shouted, "This fellow came here as an alien, and now he wants to play the judge? We'll treat you worse than them." These wicked men of Sodom got what was coming to them. The following morning, the entire city was destroyed by the fire of God's wrath. Before the destruction, Lot was rescued, when the 2 angels grasped his hand and the hands of his wife and of his 2 daughters and led them safely out of the city, for the Lord was merciful to them. Lot relocated to a city called Zoar, before eventually retreating to the mountains. There, in his old age, Lot and his 2 daughters lived in a cave. The ending of Lot's life is sad and a little disturbing. He lived in such seclusion. Can you blame him after everything he went through in civilization? That his 2 daughters could not find husbands and so schemed a way to get pregnant and continue their father's family line through incest. His descendants would become notorious enemies of God's people. Okay, so why do we just trace the crazy journey of Lot's life? Because Lot never found a home on earth. Search though he did, Lot never found any place on earth that even came close to resembling home. However, in all the heartache Lot must have endured during his pilgrimage on earth, I think there was a profound blessing. Peter writes in the New Testament, "God rescued Lot, a righteous man, who was distressed by the filthy lives of lawless men." God rescued Lot, because Lot didn't settle to make this fallen earth his home. The sinful wickedness of the people he lived among made him hunger and thirst in the depths of his soul for something he couldn't find. No matter how far he traveled, Lot couldn't find a home. Like Uncle Abraham, I think Lot's disillusioned pilgrimage on earth nurtured within his soul a longing for a better country, a heavenly one, a city whose architect and builder is God. That's why I think God rescued Lot, not just from the judgment of fire poured down upon Sodom, but also from the judgment of sin at the end of the age. In at least one way, then, may we all be like Lot, unable to find a home on this earth, so that we may be rescued by God to our true, eternal home.